Hello and welcome to MPC News with me, Upile Kaisa. First, a look at the headlines. President Chakwera calls for collaboration in dealing with challenges facing Malawi and other African countries. Norway and World Food Programme signed Memorandum of Understanding towards supporting Malawi's El Nino response plan to the tune of 9 billion kwacha. Secretary to the Treasury, Bichani Cheneni, urges members of the Association of Business Journalists to refrain from negative reporting of the country's economy. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has called for collaboration in dealing with the many challenges facing Malawi and other African countries. The Malawi president also called for speedy reforms at the United Nations, especially its Security Council. Dr. Chakwera made the remarks in his address to the United Nations General Assembly in New York, USA. Maisoji Kadzula has the details in this report.
Speaking to the UN General Assembly, President Chakwera emphasized the need for global solidarity and collective action to address pressing challenges affecting the global community. Dr. Chakwera also called for reforms of the United Nations, including the expansion of the Border Security Council to include African representation. He said it is encouraging that developed countries such as the United States of America and China are in support of his stand.
I was delighted to hear President Biden also announce he is in favor of this reform. Similarly, when I met President Xi Jinping of China 3 weeks ago, I was delighted to hear that he too is in favor of stronger representation of the interests of developing countries in the Security Council. So, Mr. President, the time to fix this is now.
Dr. Chakwera states that smaller nations and younger democracies feel left behind in global efforts to address, among other issues, matters of climate change. President Chakwera further told the gathering that developing countries' efforts to move forward are being significantly slowed down by a global system of multilateral agencies and financial institutions that are slow to intervene where need arises. The Malawi leader highlighted challenges Malawi is facing because of adverse weather conditions that hit the country, forcing his administration to declare Malawi as a country in perpetual state of disaster. The Malawi leader then emphasized the importance of partnership and collective action to address such challenges.
Even the great strides of development we have made over the past 4 years have been facilitated by strong international cooperation. Whether it be the 4 road corridors and hundreds of secondary schools we are constructing through our cooperation with the United States, or the M1 road we are rehabilitating and expanding through our cooperation with the European Union, or the railway line system we have revived for the first time in 40 years through our cooperation with China, or the orthopedic and neurosurgery hospital we have developed through the cooperation with Norway, or the Makanjira Road we are ready to develop through our cooperation with Saudi Arabia, or the investments we are making to strengthen education and governance institutions through our cooperation with the United Kingdom, or the solar power plants that we have developed through our cooperation with Japan, or the extended credit facility from the International Monetary Fund that has unlocked access to the World Bank's and IDEA support through cooperation with developing partners.
On a date, the Malawi leader said many countries, including Malawi, continue to be overburdened by huge debts, saying there is need for support from development partners. Dr. Chakwera also held development partners for their various initiatives, saying Malawi is able to undertake some development projects because of the support it gets from the partners. The 79th United Nations General Assembly here in New York is being held under the theme, Leaving No One Behind, Acting Together for the Advancement of Peace, Sustainable Development and Human Dignity for Present and Future Generations. Maisoji Kadzula, MBC, New York.
The Malawi president has called on donor partners to always support in financing activities that support in dealing with the effects of climate change. Dr. Chakwera was speaking during the Global Center on Adaptation Intervention meeting in New York, USA. Maisoji Kadzula has the details in this report.
The meeting, which brought together sitting presidents, former president, ministers and various stakeholders, focused on climate adaptation, which aims at accelerating action and supporting countries in adapting to the impacts of climate change. In his remarks, Dr. Chakwera said there is a great need for donor partners to seriously think of supporting the efforts put by various governments to deal with climate change financially.
With national adaptation plans, which we are grateful for the help that we had received, there's still slow progress in accessing funding that can help nations like ours truly adapt, because we are always involved in mitigating and trying to build back that which has been destroyed. And so much of the effort is given to really just making sure that people can thrive under such daunting circumstances.
Founder of the organization, Ban Ki-moon, the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, urged countries to put deliberate policies to dealing with climate change.
When at COP26 in Glasgow, United Kingdom, the commitment to double adaptation finance came forward. I think that this doubling by next year is the most important action item of the Paris climate change regime.
The Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens also collaborates with GCA to promote global citizenship education, sustainable development, and climate action. The president also proceeded to the UNDP Secretariat Office, where he had an audience with UNDP Administrator Achim Steiner. Chakwera hailed UNDP for supporting Malawi in the digital transformation, which is key to achieving the Malawi 2063, among other areas of support. President Chakwera is here in the United States, New York, attending the 79th United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. Maeso Jikadzula, MBC News, New York, USA.
Norway and World Food Programme have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to support Malawi's El Nino Response Plan. In the Memorandum of Understanding, Norway has pledged to provide 9 billion kwacha for Malawi's food imports, mess supplies and school feeding programs. Nkhani Makanga has compiled a report.
Following President Chakwera's appeal for aid, Norway pledged $5.2 million to Malawi's El Nino Response Plan. During the MOU signing, Norwegian ambassador to Malawi, Ingrid Mari Mikkelson, stressed Norway's commitment to preserving 25 years of Norway's developmental progress in Malawi, which was under threat due to El Nino.
It is vital for Norway, who is in Malawi now for soon 25 years, that we can be able to continue our development assistance. When crisis hit, we want to be there and assist and make sure that the efforts we have made throughout 25 years are not hampered by crises that emerge. We heard His Excellency President Chakwera when he called out for help earlier this year.
WFP Country Director Paul Turnbull expressed gratitude but also highlighted the need for further support in health, education and agriculture sectors.
We're very encouraged and we are very grateful for the response. We've had a series of development partners come forward to support us, and we look back at the appeals made by the President earlier this year and also by the United Nations, and we do see that the engagement we've had with the development partners has given us a very good response to the appeal so far. There's still some gaps to fill, especially in some of the other sectors, because it's fair to say that the food security cluster has been the best funded so far, but we definitely need to cover those requirements in the other sectors as well.
The contribution will assist 544,000 people through maize procurement, school feeding programs and child nutrition, which will be done in collaboration with DODMA.
That was Emmanuel Chikonso reading a report by Nkhani Makanga. Moving on, Minister of Tourism Vera Kamtukule says bilateral ties between Malawi and Botswana have significant potential to benefit the people of the two countries through enhanced trade and investment. Kamtukule made the remarks during Botswana's 58th Independence Day celebrations in Lilongwe. Pom Looka has the details.
Minister of Tourism Vera Kamtukule said the two countries have a lot to benefit from each other if strategic investment can be made, particularly in key sectors of tourism, agriculture and education. She has since called for a stronger mutually beneficial partnership to improve livelihoods of the citizens of both countries.
I'm very happy because regional integration is one of the ways to go. Like I said in my speech, the consumption of tourism products is not mutually exclusive. What that means is that somebody coming to Malawi should also be available to go to Botswana, go to Zimbabwe, go to Zambia, but it can only happen when we regionally collaborate or integrate. What that means is that governments need to collaborate, but also the operators at the level there.
On her part, Botswana High Commissioner to Malawi, Sarah Molosiwa, acknowledged the strong ties between the two countries, which she said are rooted in shared beliefs, geographical features, politics and entertainment. She affirmed her government's commitment to working with government of Malawi in accelerating socio-economic development that would benefit both countries.
There's no country that can work on its own, and no one is an island, as you know that there's that proverb. We can only manage as neighboring countries when we work together. Nowadays we are preparing for intra-trade or encouraging intra-trade for our economies to transform so that we can be able to inter-trade and even be able to export or benefit from the outside world. We are supposed to be working together.
Botswana National Day is celebrated on 30 September, but this year the people of Botswana and Malawi decided to celebrate earlier on the sidelines of Botswana Investment and Trade Fair held in Lilongwe. Paul Mlowoka, MBC, Lilongwe.
You are watching the morning edition of MBC News with me, Upile Kaisa. Remember, you can access all MBC digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen, or get the latest news by subscribing to our SMS services by dialing *364#. A reminder of our top stories. President Chakwera calls for collaboration in dealing with challenges facing Malawi and other African countries. Norway and World Food Programme signed Memorandum of Understanding towards supporting Malawi's El Nino response plan to the tune of 9 billion kwacha. Secretary to the Treasury, Bichani Cheneni, urges members of the Association of Business Journalists to refrain from negative reporting of the country's economy. Welcome back. Speaker of the National Assembly, Catherine Gotani-Hara, has called on members of the Women's Guild and CCAP Synod of Livingstonia to complement prayer with action by venturing into small-scale businesses. Gotani-Hara was speaking in Mzuzu during prayers organized by the Women's Guild from Mzuzu City, Mzuzu and Ikwendeni presbyteries.
Drawn from three presbyteries, namely Mzuzu City, Mzuzu and Ikwendeni, under Livingstonia Synod of the CCAP Church, hundreds of members of the Women's Guild attended prayers at Mzuzu Upper Stadium. Speaking during the event, Speaker of Parliament Catherine Gotani-Hara said there's need to promote the welfare of women through different women empowerment programs to enable them meaningfully contribute to national development.
Or abuse, then it will be difficult for you to get that child, to get that support. So this type of networking, it will help. And that's why I was saying that for the next meeting, we should actually involve even people who can help us to talk to the women psychologically. People like who come from St. John of God, people who can talk to women about self-empowerment, people who can talk about self-confidence of the women, because that will help us to move forward.
Moderator of Mzuzu Presbytery, Reverend Timothy Nyirenda, said the church realizes the crucial role women play at family, community, and national levels.
This is a platform where we just need to come together, cry to God, cry to each other, share ideas. And I think that is one of the purposes that we are here. It is the first of its kind, but I think we want to engage more so that I think we may involve other people to talk to us, talk to the women, to encourage them in their daily lives, be it entrepreneurship, business, health, and even how they can improve their lives.
The prayers have been held under the theme, Worship the True God. Chimwemwe Milulu, MBC News Mzuzu.
Chief Justice Rezin Mzikamanda says the country is registering significant progress in clearing a backlog of cases in the courts of Malawi. Justice Mzikamanda made these remarks in Blantyre when he presided over a sherry party, a ceremony which marks the commencement of the new judicial calendar. Simeon Boyce with the details.
Your Lordship, guard of honor mounted by Bravo Division in Obenoda, ready for inspection, Your Lordship.
Chief Justice Rezin Mzikamanda inspects guard of honor mounted by Malawi Police Service as part of the Shelley Party, which marks the start of new judicial calendar at Chichiri Courthouse in Blantyre. The event also affords the legal profession in Malawi an opportunity to take stock of their work and chart the way forward. In his speech during the event, the Chief Justice Rezin Mzikamanda, among others, admitted that clearing of backlog cases in the courts has remained a challenge. However, the country is now registering progress through some interventions.
There have been improvements in the way that justice has been delivered. There have been improvements in the way that cases have been attended to. But of course, there's always more work to be done. And that's what we have realized, that there's more work to be done. And so there are other interventions that we must introduce. We should be as innovative as we can be, beyond simply telling people to do the work. And that's what we are going to implement in the coming year. The various innovative mechanisms, including digitalization of the judiciary.
In his remarks, President of Malawi Law Society, Patrick Mpaka, said the judiciary should put more effort in fighting corruption.
We remember that the Chief Justice, when he was opening the Financial Crimes Court in May, he laid emphasis on the need to fight corruption in the courts. So we focused on that to say that the judiciary and the legal profession must not be must lead the fight against corruption, because it destroys a lot of things for the ordinary people. So let us take the privilege of being lawyers and judges to save the people better. The limited resources that are there must not be purified through corrupt means and the like. So there was that emphasis on the fight against corruption.
There are 4 sittings in Malawi judicial calendar, namely Louis Chetsika, Friday Makuta, Richard Banda, and Renard Unyolo. Simon Boyce, MBC News, Blantyre.
Secretary to the Treasury, Bechani Cheleni, has urged members of the Association of Business Journalists, ABJ, to refrain from negative reporting of the country's economy. Speaking at ABJ's annual lecture conference in Mangochi, Cheleni expressed concerns that such reporting could deter potential investors. He acknowledged the challenges facing Malawi's economy, particularly the impact of recent natural calamities like Tropical Cyclone Freddy, but was quick to say the situation is not as dire as some local media reports suggest. Dave Yuma reports.
In his remarks when opening the conference, Secretary to the Treasury, Bechani Cheleni, presented key issues that highlight positive changes in the Malawi economy. He gave an example of positive strides in the mining sector and various interventions that are happening in the agriculture sector through the ATM strategy as tenets of turning around the economy that was damaged by natural calamities. He, however, bemoaned the tendency of some media houses that report negatively on the economy, a thing he said has a potential to scare would-be investors in Malawi.
That's the area of maybe trying to help us to woo investors, to show to it that the environment is not as bad as it is portrayed sometimes. Sometimes